here's the stretch. All right, well, back for another episode, and we're back in the phase of this build for the Golden Eagle CJ5 conversion to a truck, okay? If you haven't seen the previous one, got a 1977 CJ5, and I'm making it into a truck. And the previous whole, I think 5 sections, we built the whole cab for it. Yep, doors, everything, yeah. TJ doors on the CJ5. It's great. So now it's time to actually stretch this frame, you know, way out to here. Axle's going to come back. It's actually I think it's a 42-inch stretch, 42 inches. So that axle's moving back 42 inches from stock. Now, my particular axle is already back 6 inches, so 36 inches from where I was at, but a stock CJ5, I believe, is an 84-inch wheelbase, and we're going out to 126 inches. So today we're going to do the stretch, and I'm not going to do it in a manner that you normally see. I don't follow, oh, that's the way you do it. You know, I'll watch a video here and there and say, oh yeah, you cut the frame, and then you insert a piece in the middle and you weld here and you weld the butt joint, and then you do some fish plates, and you know, and off you go. I'm not going to do it that way for a couple of reasons, but the main reason, you can't do it with the CJ5. I mean, you can, but it would be, I'd say, torture. So, and let me demonstrate why it's torture in CJ5. You can do a CJ7 or, you know, the YJ with square headlights on it, but let me show you this. So the CJ5 frame, this is the front of your Jeep, and this is the back. The front of your Jeep has a straight line here, and then it has a straight line here. Of course, we're looking down at it. These have little bulges and crowns in, right? And then in the back is slightly wider, and you have a straight line here, and you have a straight line here. And your leaf spring frame mount shackle, you got one here and you got one here. Well, this is the frame mount, and then your shackle is up here, all right, for the front. And in the rear, your frame mount shackles, leaf spring mounts right here, shackles here. Right? And here, but what you have here is a diagonal. So if you cut this diagonal and you scoot this back, you can't insert a straight piece in here. It's going to have to go at an angle, but an angle different than these angles. And so your insertion's going to look something like, see, it'd be like, there's the back, and then there's your angle, and then your angle that comes up here is actually going to be here and then there. So you're going to have like this weird little jog of, yeah, forget it. Forget about it. Don't do that. And these things are so short that you're almost better off just building a whole new frame from scratch. But you don't have to do that. And so hang in there. I'm going to show you how I'm going to do it. And we are going to all learn. If you have a CJ5 sitting out in the weeds because you're like, I don't know what to do with it, it's not that great to drive, it's too small or whatever, you know, this is a project you can take on because I'm just using my existing parts. So What I have is a plan, and it's two phases. I'm not even going to cut the frame. I'm not going to cut the frame at all. What I'm going to do, I did some measurements and it came out. See this piece of 2x4 inch rectangular tubing? This is 180 wall. It's stout. What I'm going to do is weld it, get down here, on top of here. It's going to sit right here and go all the way up to here, and then just come off and go all the way back. And so it'll be one surface for the frame. Now I do have to compensate. I got this little bend here. So I did a thing, and I had to have a template. So I made this little thing, this piece of sheet metal. And if you put it on in here, ever so carefully, see, the 4x4, 2x4 is going to sit on top of here. So I see that, it's going to extend out, and it's going to weld onto here, all the way over to here. That's 26 inches of weld. 26 inches of weld. So when you talk about strength, it's how many inches of weld that you have. So that's why if you cut it in the frame, you insert a piece, do a butt joint, and then they do the fish plates. The fish plates add more weld and adds more strength. Well, I think with that method on each joint, you might get 16, 18 inches best. This is going to be almost 5 feet of weld if that's what I want to do on it, because I'm going to have 26 inches on each side. That's like 52 inches of weld. And I may just stitch weld. I haven't decided yet, but initially I'm going to tack it and then go from there. But that's how I'm going to extend this thing. I do have some cleanup on the frame to deal with. Just grind until it comes off. Get paint off. The standard thing. And then I don't know if you can see it. Let me see. Oh, I have a flashlight. I have a flashlight. So I took that template and I laid it on here. You can see the blue line here. So I have to cut this blue line, and then it cuts across, and then I have to do it again on the other side. So that was off that template I showed you. And I have to do it on this piece and that other piece, and then they'll be clamped on and welded on top of that frame. In fact, look at that. I didn't even take the axle out. I can stretch it, and I'm not even taking the axle out. Now, I did say this is part 1 of 2 of the frame stretch. There's another section. We'll show you that section once we get this one done. And that does require that the axle's got to come out. Besides, the axle's got to move anyways. But this particular stretch, if you didn't want to do option 2, I'm going to show you later. And in other words, you're not doing leaf springs. So you did coil over. So you just want to do coil springs with a separate coil. Say you found a TJ or somebody, did something and says, hey, they're free, take them. That's a great way to start. You could do that with what I'm doing here and do a 4-link or a 3-link or an 18-link, or however many links you want. I don't care. But decide you want to go down that path, then that's definitely what you can do if you got a little CJ5. And you can do it like this, just CJ7 or YJ. That'll work. In fact, probably a brand new Wrangler, you can probably do the same thing on a 2-door. But anyways, let's get rolling. I got the angle grinder. It's all wound up, and I'm gonna cut that, and then I got to get over here and clean up these frame rails and get them ready. Get them ready for some heavy welding. All right. Let the sparks fly. Get these frame rails done. It takes a whole disc to cut this that 180 walls. Pretty 3/16. Ugh. It's hard to handle. It's hard to handle. Not too bad. Now let's do the other side. I haven't marked that other side yet. Sure, I'm doing it the right direction, or I just wasted $50 in pipe. All right, we'll get that cleaned up. I need to go over there and clean the other frame rack as well, so we'll go do that and clean this up too. Because I need to use the angry grinder for over there. Got some little bits and pieces to cut off the frame. Okay, let me show you what we got here. Woohoo! Look, frame extended. Now obviously it's just clamped on. What you're battling here is that template to cut these out. It gets close, but you can see right here, put the light, thank you. Yeah, see the gap there? And I want that to lay flat along here. So what I did, I took my blue pen and I just kind of mark where there's contact, and there's contact here. And you just kind of whittle away at it with the grinder. Use just a sanding disc, and where I have the blue, I grind down till the blue's gone. You know, you just do a little bit at a time, and then you'll end up well, like this one. See, this one's good and tight. There it is. See, it's all nice and flat along there. There's a little gap because I mean that thing isn't perfectly straight, but you know, it's nice and consistent. And that's really heavy. Everything's, you know, 3/16 thick there. So really hot weld, just start ripping on it and fill the gaps, and it's going to hold on just fine. But you can see this is how I'm doing the frame extension. And then, you know, and if you wanted to do a link setup instead of leaf springs, because I'm going to also have to have the spring perch right here. This is for the frame perch, so I have to build something there. But yeah, this is a super easy way to do it, especially if it's going to make it extra long. So anyways, let me continue on that, and then the final thing will be making sure that they're, you know, relatively parallel and straight, and you know, not all wacko weird, because that happens. All right, I'm just going to keep trimming and grinding until that one gets off, and then I got to clean it. Standard, you know, metalwork stuff. Spend a lot of time cleaning and grinding. I mean, look at my floor. You wonder why the dog's not in here. Look at piles of metal. There's just piles of metal. It's everywhere. So it's a dirty day. Okay, well, me and the grinder came to an agreement. So it was going to be nice if it didn't hurt me. And so I've been cleaning up these two pieces. I mean, they're still dirty, but they ain't as dirty as they were. Let me tell you, they were disgusting. So, but this thing on the angle grinder, that's, they call it twisted. As you can see, it's all twisted, and it's takes off all that grimy stuff, the surface rust, the really heavy stuff. So it really knocked it off fast. So I was really happy with that. But at any rate, we have these guys set. I had to put a shim in here and the same thickness shim. It's just a 3/16 piece. This here I'm holding in the front at the stock width at the frame, and measure my frame. The front about 37 5/8. We come all the way to the back, about 37 5/8. The other thing to note, I'm at 34 and a half here, 34 and a half here, and if you come up to the front where this is at, that's also at 34 and a half. So these two pieces are parallel to themselves, parallel to the floor. Okay. So should be square, and I'm not going to check because there's no point. I'm not going to change for that. You got to understand this whole frame stuff is plus or minus 1/4 inch, probably be okay. Even 1/2 inch in some cases. But what really matters is the front spring perch at the frame. So that's gotta be, you know, relatively exactly where, you know, your axles are parallel. Otherwise, you know, you'll be walking the dog legging all the way down the highway. So anyways, I'm gonna get the old welder out, tack these in, and then get the clamps off, and then inside, kind of get an idea of what the stretch looks like. There we go. And then I got a lot of sweeping and cleaning to do. There's just grinding dust all over the place. I knew this was going to be a doozy on with the grinder because it's been pretty much grinder all day. But yeah, I'm happy with this, and let me go get it in. Clamps. Like a huge mess to clean up. But look, that's just tacked in. You can move the whole, pick it up just with the tacks. So, whew, it is now becoming a truck. I like it. So, next time, I got to pull the axle, which means the drive shaft, the vent, the brake lines. Yeah, I got to catch all that brake fluid is going to be coming out of there. I need to pinch it off or something. And then get it moved back. But the reason why I did it, these rails here first, is I wanted the Jeep to be leveled and as if it was sitting on its axles. So now I know how high that has to be when I set up the leaf springs, because I don't want to change the height of this. Well, the only thing I'm going to change, the way I'm going to change the height is when I put larger tires. Other than that, I don't want the suspension to be changing like that, because it's fine right where it's at. So that's why you know, you do this first, get all your measurements, get it all squared, get it leveled, and then when I move this back, I will set the shackle height and the front perch height and everything in accordance of making sure that, at least with the weight that's on it, that it's going to sit here. And obviously there's going to be some more weight on these springs. Did some estimates. The truck bed that I'm looking at making for this, it's going to be about 250 pounds maybe. No, it's going to be more than that, about 300, 350. It's just going to be really heavy. And that poor 5.9 liter AMC with the 150 horsepower, it's going to struggle. But you know, there's always the 6.2 liter in this car. Oh, did I just say something? I just let that cat out of the bag. It's an option. Anyways, I'm gonna sign off today. I gotta go eat, well, clean up, eat, then I gotta come back here, and I have a huge mess of grinding all over here. Right now it's all over me, but I'll get it off of me first. Okay, so we'll see you tomorrow. Phase 2, the stretch. All right, well, it's the next day, and I've actually been working several hours, just trying to get ready for the big event for the day. And the big event for the day is to actually finally remove the rear axle suspension, and then figure out how to move back, get reattached to the truck. So I had to reconfigure the shop a bit. Believe it or not, shop this big, you run out of space, you don't plan too well. So I needed to bring my lift here so I could get something underneath these rails. Actually put some big old welds here. I didn't fully weld it on both sides, and it's definitely enough to hold the truck up. And then this piece is just temporary, you know, keep things from moving around while I lift it and tweak it. But been working on the rear axle. I got the parking brakes off. I got the hydraulic brakes off, the ARB taken off, everything kind of secured here. And then this stand under here with the casters, if you watched one of my previous videos on the solid axle swap on the Chevy Tahoe, that's the same one. I just cut it down lower for this because I really want to be able to take these, not the whole axle off the spring. I just want to detach the springs, leave everything else attached, and then roll it back. And so I took some time to reconfigure this. This is all just scrap metal here that I threw together, some old casters off of a little skateboard and stuff. So anyways, now I think I'm ready just to start, you know, taking the bolts off and moving this axle out from under its past convert position and into its new position. Doggone you. You missed all the action. It was over here. You should have been looking this way. Anyway, big hammer. Hit top spring as best I can. I hit a bunch of other stuff. Yeah. This bad boy is out of there now. All right, move it. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Moving. That's why sometimes you just want to take time and make yourself a picture it just makes it easier. So, once I got it undone, I just from here to there. You see, I even have a pinion support on that. So, I mean, it doesn't even really rock forward. But, look at that. My name, Andrew, right there. It's still on there from when they manufactured it at Alcan Spring. Great spring company, by the way. Right there, Grand Junction. Those guys. These springs have never sagged. I'll stand by that. All right. Now that I have it out of there, safely supported, I have to build the things that attach the springs to back to the frame. Yeah. And I'm going to do something a little odd, a little different. It's an experiment, and if it works, I'll show it to you. And when I get there, I'll explain it to you, and you go, some say, you're an idiot, and the other one say, well, that makes sense. And there's a reason for this bizarre thing I'm going to do. So, yeah, let me get to it. All right, making some parts. Try this again. Woo. We have parts, yay! Do 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 do. They're going to require to clean it up. Finished part 1, 2, because there's 2 sides of the springs. Figure out what this is going to do? Yeah, I don't know. Put it in the comments before you see the end. Record! All right. 2 more of these wonderful pieces. Yeah, let me clean them on and put them on stick number 2. All right. Let's uncover the mystery of that guy was building. So basically building the mount or the spring at the front forward one at the frame, not the shackle side. And so I built these bars. Let me get down here with a light. Is it dark? There we go. Let me shrink you a little bit. So here they are. That bar bolts into the original mount for the spring. And you see, that location is the only thing that tells me what the alignment is and relative to the front axle and keeping the rear axle parallel to the front axle and the width. I mean, those are the only things here because everything comes at angles after that, both on that side of it and on this side. Everything goes at a weird angle. So that is the only point of reference on a CJ5. And I didn't want to get rid of it. So I says, hey, let's use it to my advantage. So I just put this big old piece of, it's a 2x3, 3/16 pipe. And it comes up here. And then you can see here, it just makes the bolt for the front of the spring. And then here, that sets the height of this bolt to the ground, the same as the height of that bolt to the ground. So it's in the same vertical position, not horizontal because it came back. And now you're like, well, this ain't gonna hold. We ain't gonna catch it. Of course it's not gonna hold. It's just tacked in there holding this on. And what this will allow me to do is, what I can do is I'm not engineering this. If I had this all engineered in 3-dimensional CAD with all the call outs for every little part on here, I know how much this thing weighs. I know what my spring rate is. I know all that stuff. I know all that stuff. I'm just winging it here. So I said I needed a way to adjust the height of the rear springs and not a shackle lift, because I can't stand shackle lifts. I want to make it like it's supposed to be, factory, right? And so what this allows me to do is when I put the bed on here, I don't know how much the bed's going to weigh several hundred pounds. I put my spare tire on there. Maybe I put it on a rear winch. Maybe I got to put a gas tank in here. As the load gets heavier, this thing's going to want to start to come down and come down. Probably no more than an inch, but either way, right now it's level, okay? And so when I get the tires on, anyways, what I can do, if this thing's too high, I simply put my little, have a jack. You can see it right over there. This is a jack. I put it in here, jack it up, cut this out, and then I cut the spacer to the correct length, and then I bring it up, and then lo and behold, the back end comes down. Or let's say I'm running nose up and I don't like that. Then I can cut this out, get my jack, pull it up, and then put that spacer in there. See? I can adjust the height of this connection. I can go up with it and I can go down with it. If I go up with it, the truck comes down. If I go down with it, the truck goes up. Then when I have what I want, then you bet you, there's going to be structure here. There'll be structure in here, a whole bunch, stuff, big chunks of steel welded in here where, it's going to be stable and it's not going to go anywhere. So that's the plan. And I should work. Now for the back shackle, I decided I wanted to use a Jeep Cherokee XJ shackle, which it's not like that. It has the bushing on one end of the shackle, and the other shackle just bolts onto the leaf springs. And then that way I can just have drop down some plates with holes in it and just bolt it in nice and clean. So I'm waiting for that stuff to come in. All right, so anyways, here's the stretch. That's from factory, that's a 42-inch stretch. Anyways, that's it for me today. And we'll come back, get the rear spring mount on the shackles built, and then after that, put it on tires. I think that'd be cool.